Alrighty, welcome back to another video by myself, Realm and Myth. Today we're going to just be discussing Myth's team. We've seen he's got off to a super hot start, as you can see on screen, with an overall position of 18th. Myth, do you want to talk to us about your start of the season?
Yeah, I can't really complain, can I? It's been a great start to the season. The best I've had in the many years that I've played SuperCoach, and to be sitting 18th after 2 rounds is fantastic. But in reality, the starting gun's barely gone off. We've barely started the race. There's a long way to go. And whilst I'm thankful to have a points advantage to start the year, it's still a long way to go, and I've still got a lot of decisions to be made. You can see there, switching over to team, 44 trades. Like, we've still got so much more trading to do, but I'm very thankful for the good start.
So your starting team, so you've made a couple of moves already. What have you changed from round one, and why did you make those changes?
Yeah, first round of trading couldn't really have gone too much better for me. I went Harry Grant down to Thomas Starling, who obviously turned up, and then I went Seyfarth to Payne Haas, who nearly did the same. So what's that? 101 average for my first trades of the year. Can't really ask for much more than that. The reasoning behind it was pretty simple. It was, I felt that my structure was off. I thought that the cheapies in second row forward and the mids in second row forward weren't good enough. There wasn't that real standout option that was going to be playable each week that you could have confidence with, aside, from Corey Horsburgh. So I wanted to get cash into there, and Payne Haas in round one. I've been burnt by him before 2 years ago, where he looked really good and he averaged about 80 up until he got injured. And what I saw in round one from Payne Haas was more than that. He looked more damaging, more threatening, used in better positions. So I was happy to go early on him, even though there was only one game sample, simply because the downside to him was always going to be a 70 to 75 average anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, which is still profit.
Yeah, and Thomas Starling, I went him over Mamazoulos simply because of the draw. Didn't like the Rabbitohs matchup, against the Sharks and Penrith the next 2 weeks. I thought that could stunt Mamazoulos' cash generation, and that Starling had a bit more upside, had a bit more attack in him. Turns out they both had attack in them, but I'm happier owning Starling than I would be Mamazoulos coming into this week.
Yeah, definitely. And if you don't mind just scrolling down a bit, just so the viewers can get an overall look at your side, you said that you weren't happy with the structure of your side in those aspects. Is there any other areas of your side you wish you might have started differently?
Probably Munster. I think I wish I had a bit of cash. I found some cash elsewhere to have Munster in my 5'8" position, just to have a Storm asset that I'm holding through to be able to not have to get them in before this big run. That's probably the only spot that I would really wish I had a bit more cash. I think in hindsight, maybe a triple fullback with Cleary and Duffy might have been better, to be able to then switch Duffy to one of these cheap hookers via Sand Smith. But yeah, it's probably Munster's the big one that I would have liked to have started with that I didn't. But at the end of the day, that the result of me not having the cash to fit in Munster was where Tui Pilotu came in, who's got enough to an absolute flyer. And even that one, I liked Tui Pilotu, and there was a lot of reasoning that went into that pick. But Thursday night, I had Hopgood and Campbell Graham over Lucas and Tui Pilotu, and I switched that on the Friday after the Broncos game, because that just changed my thinking a little bit. And I just didn't feel like I had enough upside in my side. And so that's where I went to Tui Pilotu. And I knew a good way of just getting out of him if need be. Like after the Haas game, I had Tui Pilotu in there, and I'd done the numbers of going, if I went him down to Arthur's, I could get Seyfarth up to Haas. So I was looking at all my options, and Tui Pilotu just felt like a good cash spot and a good punt early on that has obviously paid off in spades.
Yeah, absolutely. And that answered my next question when I was going to say what were the thoughts behind Tui Pilotu. So we'll move on to going forward. Now you've come into the super hot start. I've been in this position before where I've started really hot, and it's kind of been tough to navigate how to stay up there while still generating that cash. So do you have any thoughts about whether you want to go more vanilla from here on out? If you're still wanting to stick with certain pods, have you put much thought into that specifically?
I think it's too early to be going, oh, do I need to cancel out guys? Do I need to be potting up? I need to be taking a risk here. I'm still just trying to treat it as this is my side. What's the best way I can move forward? The big thing I'm always looking for at this stage of the season are who are the guys under 600K that are going to be keepers. They're the ones that are going to be absolute guns, the ones that are going to be guys you can hold for a long term that are essentially going to make cash just as a result of scoring well. And the one that stands out to me so far is Tino. I got him wrong. It's as simple as that. I thought he would get less minutes to start the season. I thought his lack of match fitness might mean he's not as destructive when on the field and that he might take a little bit of time to warm into the season. We saw against the Dogs, Des using him in short spells to kind of counteract that match fitness issue, and he looks as destructive as ever. I think he had over 80 in base and power, and we know he can find the line, and we know when the times are getting tough for the Titans, he lifts. And well, I'm sure Gold Coast fans all know that times are often tough for the Titans. So he's a guy I desperately want to get in. And then, yeah, I've got a lot of good cash generators, but you always want more this time of the season. And the one that I'm missing is Jesse Arthurs. So with their next couple games up against the Cowboys and Dolphins, particularly the edge of Robert Derby, he's not really known for his defense. I don't think I don't want to go against the grain on that one. So I'll probably be going Purdue up to Arthurs and Preston down to Tino at this stage. Whether a third trade comes into play is a different question. And that just comes down to Tom Trbojevic.
Yeah.
For my side, I'm hoping I can leave that decision as late as possible. But we'll see how this week unfolds.
I will say there is a noticeable lack of a specific team within your side, and that's after selling the likes of Harry Grant, not starting with Munster. Those Storm players, I know they'd be on your radar. How soon are you wanting to pounce on them? Are any of them in your sights for next week potentially, or are you looking at them a little bit later on?
Next week. Next week I will be disappointed if I don't trade in 2 Storm players next week. I don't want to go early on them because I think I can get some good information against the Panthers without it hurting me too much. I can get a look and see if Howarth is getting the same quality ball. I can see if their shapes are still really promising for Pappenhausen. I can see if Munster is having any other sweeps to the right-hand side. Can have a look at what they score as well to determine the urgency of anyone I need to get in. So a lot of what I might do with Tom Trbojevic is going to be supported by that first game. So if Pappenhausen comes out and scores 70 and he's in shape, he's looking as good as he did against Para, then he's instantly someone going, okay, again, he's 600K and he could be scoring as well as a 750, 800K player with good matchups. He ticks a lot of boxes and he's someone I would look at moving to. So that might shift what my thinking is on Tom Trbojevic and what I want to do with him. And on the flip side, if Pappenhausen comes out and scores 30, looks like the Pappenhausen we've seen over the last couple of years, I'll know that I might target different Storm players. So I think we want to be as adaptive as we can through the round and as flexible as we can with this Tom Trbojevic issue and our team structures because that Storm game is going to give us a lot of information.
Before we wrap up, just when you talk about flexibility, and let's talk about the flex position specifically, have you considered going another route besides another fullback, or would you use the flex for its intended purpose of maybe going in a different direction at all?
Yes, I'm absolutely considering that. For example, if I go down the holding of Tom Trbojevic route, I can leave that decision all the way up until the Sunday games. So because I'm trading Preston out, I could essentially go Tom Trbojevic to Jacob Preston, not using a trade, and have Preston sitting in my flex position heading into next week. If Pappenhausen then looks good, I have enough cash in the bank to go Jack Gazewski straight to Pappenhausen via the flex of Preston next round. So that's an example of the way I'm potentially looking at using the flex. The other option is if we don't find out until Turbo at the very last second, I could go Tom Trbojevic down to Jason Saab, get Jason Saab in for the next 2 weeks with his massively low break even. And then I could even look at flipping Garrick to a fullback next week, knowing I still have Manly exposure on that right edge through Jason Saab for that para match. So I'm definitely considering all the options I can use, and that's taking advantage of the flex. Turbo will sit in my flex position up until that I know exactly what I'm doing come Sunday, because I can just switch him with Iongi, who plays the earlier game on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it's all valid points, and definitely a different way that we don't hear a lot of. I haven't heard anyone thinking about that route. Like, it goes up to Pappy seems unthinkable. So yeah, a lot of different avenues there. But we'll wrap things up. If you guys are liking what Myth's saying, want to follow along on his journey and get a bit more insight to his thinking, and even get his feedback on your sides, go to the SuperCoach Hub Discord. Our subscription is there for $8 a month. We release content every single week, help all subscribers in our private chat. And if you want to get more of an idea about what type of content we do and our ideas, we have a lot of free videos on the SuperCoach Hub Discord or on the YouTube. So feel free to check us out. Myth, do you want to say anything else before we wrap up?
Just good luck to everyone else coming into this week. Should be an interesting one.
All right, beautiful. We'll see you guys in the hub.